People love to debate which is the worst Indiana Jones sequel, Temple of Doom or Kingdom of the Crystal Doll. For my money, Temple of Doom is leagues better. Why? Because it was made in the 80s, a glorious time when an Indiana Jones sequel could be grisly, violent, and politically incorrect, as opposed to Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, a safe, disposable sequel made during a time when a Disney Channel star could play in the sun. Yeah, I think Shia LaBeouf really dug himself into a hole with that one. Welcome to another entry in my Scary Scenes and Non-Horror Flicks series. Ready for a rip-roaring adventure? Today, I'm going to be analyzing the heartwarming Thuggee ritual sequence. Tag along with me as I watch this shockingly gruesome scene that pops up in an otherwise fun-ish action flick.
Killed a monkey brain.
Now, I'm a Spielberg fanboy. I fall asleep at night thinking about his filmography, and I often quote his films on a day-by-day basis. In fact, I wake up most mornings saying, in my most dramatic voice, "We're gonna need a bigger boat." Temple of Doom, however, isn't one of my favorite Spielberg films. I'm not going to say it's too unpleasant because, come on, I've sat through stuff like Martyrs and The Human Centipede. I just think it's a bit of a jumbled mess. However, the infamous Thuggee ritual sequence is one damn horrific bit of cinema. I'm pretty sure it traumatized an entire generation of kids. You know, back when kids' films could get away with a lot more hardcore stuff. God, I wish I could have grown up in the 80s. Anyway, I'm going to watch this scene, but first, some behind-the-scenes trivia. The character of Indiana Jones was originally conceived by Star Wars creator George Lucas. The legend says he pitched the idea to Spielberg the same weekend the first Star Wars film came out. Raiders of the Lost Ark turned out to be a smashing success, convincing Lucas to make at least 2 more sequels. Being the silver-tongued producer he is, he convinced his friend Spielberg to direct the rest of the trilogy. Not wanting to disappoint Lucas, Spielberg agreed. Now, apparently, both men were going through some pretty messy divorces at the time, so they probably weren't in the best of moods while creating Temple of Doom. And boy, does it show! Temple of Doom turned out to be much darker than its predecessor. If Raiders was a lighthearted adventure, Temple of Doom is a straight-up horror flick. In fact, Lucas himself said he wanted it to be the Empire Strikes Back of the series. And let's be honest, the only thing that would have made Empire better is if it featured a scene while Han Solo slaps a child across the face.
Wake up!
In the middle of the film, Indy and his accomplices, one of them being future Mrs. Spielberg Kate Capshaw, stumble upon a horrific underground ritual. What they witness is pretty unforgettable. So, you all ready to analyze this PG-rated bit of 80s goodness? You know, I have a feeling it's really going to tug at my heartstrings. Enough with the heart puns. Let's begin this thing. Okay, guys, right off the bat, I have to point out this fantastic production design. Spielberg himself said that this is one of the most impressive sets that he'd ever worked on. He compared it to an opera house, and it is just grand in scale. Like, everything you see here is practical. And even the lighting itself, like, they use a lot of red gels, like in this scene, because they just wanted to depict this pure version of hell, essentially. And I just love the life-size statue of Kali Ma and just how horrific it is. Imagine seeing like that face like in your nightmares. It is just a fantastic piece of production design, and it lives up to the title, The Temple of Doom. Anyway, let's continue.
It's a Thuggee ceremony.
They're worshiping Kali.
Okay, in this particular shot, there actually is a very cool Spielberg trademark. So something that Spielberg does, you'll notice that Kate Capshaw's face, half of it is like enveloped in shadow. Spielberg likes to put a lot of emphasis on the eyes. Often a character will be staring at something like in awe, and he'll have like this light around their eyes because the eyes can be very expressive. And also, it's cool that Indiana Jones and his accomplices are essentially the audience, in this scene. They don't know what's going to happen. They're watching these horrific events unfold just like we are.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Nobody's seen this for 100 years.
So in the behind-the-scenes video that I watched, producer Frank Marshall pointed out that the extras in the scene who were playing the drums, they couldn't match the playback of John Williams' music. So there's actually footage of Frank Marshall like orchestrating the extras as they're playing these hell drums. It's actually very, very funny. And yeah, just this music. It's just I want to put like the soundtrack on sometime, especially during like Halloween, because just John Williams' eerie music in this scene, like it just sets the mood perfectly, like the banging of the drums, the ominous chanting. It's fantastic. And we're about to be introduced to the main antagonist of this movie, the horny Mullah Ram. Bad joke, I know, but let's continue. Okay, so the villain in this movie, Mullah Ram, he doesn't have, like this complex backstory or anything, and his motivations are pretty basic. He just wants to appease this evil god, Kali. But the Indian actor in this scene, Amrish Puri, I apologize if I mispronounced his name incorrectly, he just has like this intimidating presence, just the way he's built. He was this towering figure. In fact, one of the actors in this movie wondered if he was a professional bodybuilder. But apparently he wasn't. He was just this very, towering built dude. And, I just have to say this. I mentioned that Mullah Ram isn't the most, complex villain in the world. The reason you remember him is because this actor just has such an intimidating presence. Like, he has this very, creepy smile, and he has these eyes that just penetrate the soul. And that's what makes a memorable villain. He doesn't have to be deep or complex. He just has to have this presence to him. And this actor did a phenomenal job with this role. Oh, I really, really love this shot because, again, it just shows off how terrifying this villain is. The way that he is just slowly, walking towards his victim. It kind of makes me think of Michael Myers. It's all about the buildup. Michael Myers would often slowly chase his victims because he's not in a hurry. He just wants to revel in the evil deeds that he is carrying out. And, in this shot, we don't even see the villain's face. At first, we see, his headpiece, the sharp horns, and I think there's like a shrunken head in the middle of that headpiece. And yeah, just imagine that, walking slowly towards you, with those sinister eyes. It's just so scary.
बलि मांगती काली माँ, मुक्ति देगी काली माँ, काली माँ, काली माँ, काली माँ शक्ति दे, बलि चढ़ाऊं तेरे आगे, स्वीकार करो।
Yeah, did I mention this was released a decade before 1996's Mortal Kombat, which was rated PG-13? If a PG-rated film like this could depict a scene where a character rips out a person's heart and holds it in the palm of their hand, I mean, come on, Mortal Kombat. I mean, you can even give us like one bit like that, just one bit of gory goodness. Temple of Doom is 1,000 times more hardcore than that film. And also, it's interesting to note that a PG-13, that rating didn't actually exist in 1984. But this film and Gremlins, another film Spielberg was involved with, they actually both persuaded the MPAA to create a new rating.
अब इसकी जान मेरी मुट्ठी में है अब इसकी जान मेरी मुट्ठी में है अब इसकी जान मेरी मुट्ठी में है अब इसकी जान मेरी मुट्ठी में है
Still alive.
Om Nam Shiva, 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 Om Nam Shiva.
Again, there's that Spielberg trademark I was talking about earlier. We see a lot of emphasis, on her eyes, her bulging, terrified eyes, and I think most of us would look like Kate Capshaw in this scene. If we just witnessed something so violent and terrifying, only time in the movie where I can actually relate to her character. It's just amazing to me what they were able to accomplish without any computer-generated imagery. And also I learned in the behind-the-scenes footage that they actually constructed this full-bodied animatronic that they could lower into this fiery pit and set on fire. And apparently it moved so realistically that test audiences were just terrified. So Spielberg told Industrial Light and Magic to play with the editing a little bit to make it a little less horrific, but yeah, it's still pretty terrifying, that's for sure.
बलि चढ़ा दो बलि चढ़ा दो बलि चढ़ा दो
That ending where Mulder Ram just walks away as if it were nothing, as if this were just another day in the office for him. He doesn't care that he just sent this poor innocent man to his death. This is his job. This is what he enjoys doing, as evidenced by that really, really sinister villain laugh. Probably one of the greatest villain laughs in all of cinema. You have to admit, that's a pretty unique way to go. I mean, can you imagine dying like that? Having a psychotic voodoo priest rip out your heart and lowering you into a fiery pit of swirling lava? That would be a hell of a way to go. Literally. But yes, that is the Thuggee ritual sequence from Temple of Doom. And I always wanted to be Indiana Jones when I was a kid. Watching this scene reminds me that being Indiana Jones isn't all fun and games. You might encounter some truly scary shit. But yes, guys, thank you so much for joining me in my analyzation of the Thuggee ritual sequence from Temple of Doom. I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, I do have other videos, on this channel talking about scary scenes in non-horror flicks. Please check those out as well. I have one for the alien abduction movie, Fire in the Sky. I have one for Spider-Man 2, which is directed by Sam Raimi, horror legend. But please check those out as well. If you liked what you saw here, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Round the Clock Frights. And as always, stay scary, and yeah, go on an adventure. Life is short. Just get out there and just don't get your hearts ripped out. That's what a relationship is for. Kidding. Later, guys. Take care.